Another thing that I would add to that I know we're all big proponents of, and I hate to see that it's missing now, is hazing.
Yeah.
That's a huge component to that, and for sure, just like with compulsion, with children or circumstances, consequences with coworkers, I mean, whatever, is that there has to be a fucking middle ground. Like, you can't just be a total fucking abusive prick on the same,
right.
or in the same vein, like that tool being used appropriately and from a timing standpoint impeccably. I don't think that there's a better tool to at least police our own. And I don't think you'd see the issues that you've seen here as of late, had we still had the ability to take a motherfucker behind the berm and straighten his ass out, because they just don't do that anymore.
I think the issues would still be there, but they'd be less, way less obvious because of that self-policing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think hazing, and I talk about it in there, there's two reasons to do it: celebration or correction, right?
Yeah.
And if you need to correct someone, you haze them, but it's in a governed way. It lets them know that, hey, we mean business. You're not this isn't a cubicle environment. This isn't an office job. This is go overseas and kick people's asses. And we need to know that, especially new guys, are going to show up for that endeavor. But a lot of times that gets lost, and some people haze out of control and injure people. And hell, on the East Coast, they killed a couple of people.
Yeah.
So it was, over the years, hazing has gone away, unfortunately, but it's the greatest way to keep each other in check.
Well, the new guy mentality is a solid way to catch a guy real quick too. We had one in that first platoon at 3 that was always, hey, new guy this, hey, new guy that.
Yeah.
And walked in the platoon space with me and another guy that went through Bud's nearly 30 classes ahead of me. Like, motherfucking new guys needs to dump the trash in here. And I looked at him and he looked at me. I was like, yeah, new guy, go ahead and get the fucking trash out of here. He goes,
exactly.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Wrong room.
Yep. We're all new guys.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's a new guy to somebody.
That's right.
Yeah,
but speaking of both hazing and the eloquence of the illustrations, this, how well you can get that in there. You're going to have to check out YouTube or just go buy the fucking book.
Just go buy the fucking book.
I would love for Clint to, as you zoom in on this story now, if Clint, if you could tell the story about getting your nose taped to another guy's sack and asshole.
Yeah, so that was definitely my big hazing. And another note about hazing before I tell you my favorite hazing story was, if you never got hazed and you're a team guy, that just means no one liked you.
Yeah.
No one liked you enough or cared about you enough to actually haze you. The people that get hazed are the guys that you want to excel. You want them to do better. You expect more out of them. And if it's for celebration, getting married, it's your birthday, whatever it is, then of course, you never got hazed.
Married.
Or lying about getting married.
That was one of the best ones ever.
That's a nice inside joke.
So it's, no one cares. But for me, the probably it was one of the most humiliating, disgusting hazings probably that I'd ever been involved in.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're stinting at Shaw's. We're in the cleaning room. I'm a new guy, first platoon. We knew the hazing hadn't come yet, but we had no idea it was going to happen right then and there. We're cleaning our MP5s. We noticed that the weapons cleaning room slowly emptied out. It was just me and another guy standing there. We both happen to be new guys. And just as it dawns on us, the doors bust open. Guys in their flight suits, balaclavas, and they're rolling in on us, tackle us. Of course, you fight the best you can because no one wants a pussy in their platoon that doesn't fight back. So you try to hit somebody in the head. You make somebody say ouch, but it takes seconds, and before you know it, you're hogtied. And then the real fun begins. And so for us, it was stripping us down butt naked. It's winter at Shaw's, so it's about 30, 40 degrees outside. And once we're down butt naked, then we are put into the 69 position. And, my face is tucked up into my buddy's balls, taint, and butthole. And then his is tucked in between my balls, taint, and
Who got
butthole
hard first?
In that order.
I did. Oh, wait.
No, not right now, Shane.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We were both lucky that it was cold outside. But yeah, no boners that night. So then they tape us all together into this position. and then you hear someone go, let's get, keep in mind, people are shit-faced, and that's when it's dangerous.
It's the best mix.
Nobody gets drunk and does that shit.
And so then someone's like, get the mini blasting machine. And you're like, oh, God.
Fuck.
And so, our asses are exposed. They put the leads. And for those of you who don't know, a mini blasting machine it's a handheld crank that basically creates an electrical current to set off explosives. And so the leads on the very end put out a nice little shock, great for hazing, enough to make your muscles constrict hard.
About like getting tased, really.
Yeah, getting tased.
A lot of voltage, no amperage.
That's right. And so they tape they basically duct tape the leads to each butt cheek, and they wind these things up, right? And it's like a trigger on these things. Once they get to a certain point, it releases all the energy, and it makes your ass clench, right? So now my face is in his ass.
Clenched.
As it clenches around to where for audible, it's like this. So if my face is in there, it's like, so by the time they're done, if people don't know this, like buttholes like to almost inhale, like they kind of suck things in. So my nose, and if you look, it's pointy. It's got a little bit of girth to it.
Again, I'm going to throw in the people that are still listening probably do know that.
It's nothing like Mike's nose.
They're also
but it's
looking
a
at
nose.
yours.
So
I can rate people with my nose.
Yes, you could. Somehow my nose, penetrated his butthole through all of these contractions.
Somehow.
And it wasn't fun. And then, that was just the beginning. Later, you get, Tabasco sauce pouring down your urethra, which is a reminder for about a week straight that happened. And it goes on and on. But like I said, if you don't get hazed, nobody cares about you. Yeah. That's love right there in
Fucking
the teens.
it is.
Yeah.
And the picture on fucking 69 appropriately. Did you catch that?
I did not.
Yeah. So it's on page 69 is you 69 and your fucking buddy.
It's awesome, man.
I was like, that can't be a fucking coincidence.
Yeah, no, it probably wasn't. It's probably somebody in the chain of building a book. But that there,
great.
Yeah.
All those illustrations are also solid on the electric version.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you get it. I've got it on a
The
Kindle.
electric version?
Yeah, the electric version.
The electric version.
Yeah.
Most people call it the e-reader.
It's the technology, okay?
Yeah, got it.
On that fancy computer you got there.
On that screen.
No, I have to give Tom Mandre, the guy who did the illustrations in this. He did the whole Batman versus Superman series for DC. He does some Marvel work. But yeah, if you're a comic book guy and you love the superhero world, this book sure illustrates more real life SEAL stuff, but it does it in a great way. Yeah.
Speaking of hazing stories, Shane, I know the listeners would love to hear your favorite hazing story.
It's not about me.
That's fine.
It's about a guy in a platoon on the East Coast.
Send it.
He came in late during the workup with a ton of attitude. And we were at one of the woods training areas, land warfare training areas in Northern Virginia. And the Doors movie was recently released. So time-wise, 92, 93. And we knew it was coming. He did not. And so we had the Doors playing in the background for about 20 hours.
It was like fucking SEER school mind game shit.
While he was summarily stripped and taped to a tree outside because it was just him. The rest of us were pretty tight, and he was the outsider, and he just didn't want to gel.
Yeah.
And there was some drinking involved, obviously, and we got pretty rough with him. But it shifted his whole psyche overnight. It was literally that fast, because the next morning we did there's an outdoor O course up there. It's an Army O course, runs like 2.5 miles of forest.
Yeah.
An obstacle every quarter, half mile, some shit like that. When we got done, he had his shirt off and he was chafed and bruised. And the OIC had no idea what had gone on because it was below his pay grade. He didn't need to know about it. He's like, hey, the fuck happened to you? He's like, nah, I slipped and fell on an obstacle.
Yeah.
Never an issue again.
Oh, sure.
Love that guy to death.
Huh.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome. And I suspect he's retired by now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Last I heard he was in Hawaii, but fucking great guy. He needed the catalyst to get on board with the platoon.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an effective fucking tool, no doubt about it. I am curious. One of the things I heard I never saw it firsthand, but did either of you guys ever participate in sticking a dude's sack through a fence and padlocking it on the other side?
I'm not.
Never did that one. Definitely heard of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll try that.
It sounds like fun. We should do that right after.
We'll get some.
There's a fence out there.
Some after hours footage on YouTube of that.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So moving into, again, about half of the book, really kind of is dedicated to time where the three of us were together. And I always remember you having moved your brother out. I didn't realize it was that fucking severe though,
Yeah.
But, again, like I'm thinking back, I remember I was in the platoon with you. I had no idea like that you were going through all that at the time, and thinking of, trying to project and put myself in your shoes. I'm like, holy fuck, how did you deal with that? I also love the way that you did deal with it, and that you just basically just knocked the fuck out of him every time he, it's like,
until he got the message.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about bringing him in. And
for my, Beej, he definitely, as a little kid, he had it. He had it rough, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. So, he was in a very impressionable age when your parents have issues, and I'm taking care of them. It definitely led down a path that once our dad passed away, which was, just after I got in the teams and got my trident. And we are, just to put in perspective for people, we're 11 years apart.
Yeah.
So he was still very young when my dad passed away, and my mom, couldn't control this kid who was acting out. And then my mom dealing with all her own stuff too. So I don't know what I was thinking, because in retrospect, it probably wasn't that smart, but I was like, all right, I'm going to step in, get involved, go grab my brother. I picked him up from school one day and then just started driving back to San Diego. And he had no idea what the hell was going on. I just told him, you're not even going to get to tell your friends goodbye. You're just out of here. And so, brought him out to San Diego, and, here I am, you guys remember we're doing a workup, and I'm like bringing my brother along. You couldn't get away with that crap these days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just different times. And so, I'm bringing him to training evolutions, and he's like sitting in the corner while we're doing our thing. And, what a great, opportunity for him, but, for us,
Hindsight.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of embarrassing to a certain degree. But it had to be done. So that was a whole summer. He basically I had him coming to work with us. And then once he started school, he started getting in trouble again. And then eventually we deployed. And as the book covers, standing on the deck of the USS Cole, on a satellite phone, having to yell at him.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, just like, get your shit squared away.
Oh,
Jesus.
fuck.
And,
but especially given the fact that where you were at and what we were responding to, and you're having to deal with that.
Yeah. And if that's the biggest takeaway with the book, is that, a lot of them paint this picture of go overseas and, kick doors and everything. It's like success stories every night. And they don't talk about the flip side to things, where your family and everybody else is paying the ultimate price back home. So that's, the piece of reality for me was, hey, I'm having to manage my little brother, because if I hadn't, or I felt like if I hadn't, one, he'd go off the rails and become nothing in life. And nobody wants that for a family member. So anyway, it was there was points of it that were a pain in the ass, without a doubt. But yeah, you're right. There was times when I literally had to choke him out on a regular basis, just because he was such a rebelling teenager who had lost his father, and that's what it boiled down to. And so that led to a lot of conflict between Carrie and I, and ultimately laid the foundation to the marriage's demise, because she just couldn't see what I was seeing. That was the biggest argument. It was like, I'm doing this for my brother. You would do the same for yours, wouldn't you? And it's like, but she had good points. I had good points. There was just, no meeting halfway on it.
Yeah. There was one story in particular where he got fucking drunk, and he was like 16, 17.
Yeah. Here I am bringing him to San Diego, thinking that would help. And because he was kind of getting down that path in Texas. Yep. Bring him to San Diego. We were living in the Scripps Ranch area, which is nice, and it's kind of peaceful and suburbia. But yeah, he was exposed to all the same crap. Doesn't matter where. That age group is just going to get involved. And so he's getting drunk, coming home, wasn't abiding by the curfew. Meanwhile, we're halfway around the world.
Yeah.
And, she's having to deal with this crap. And so, but there was a point when I did get back, and I'm thinking, okay, he's got to start listening now that I'm actually physically here.
Yeah. He's gonna start listening.
And not threatening him from 8,000 miles away. So, but yeah, he didn't listen, and he was so drunk that the night that he came in, Carrie was very quick to jump in his face and kind of, because she was over it at that point, right? She had gone through a whole deployment dealing with his antics, but got in his face, and it looked like he was going to lunge at her, all angry, drunk angriness. So I stepped in the middle and basically choked him out, knocked him out, threw him into the bathtub, and left him there. Yeah. And so the next morning, he wakes up, and he's like, I hear downstairs yelling and screaming going on, and he is convinced that she's the one that choked him out, punched him, and threw him in the bathtub. And so I had to go downstairs in the middle of the kitchen.
Choke him out, punch him, and throw him in the bathtub.
And choke him out again. And be like, dude, that was me, not her. And he just kind of looks at me with this daze as his face turns purple. Yeah. And then that was that. But he finally cleaned up his act, and
Well, he's got his shit together now, which is promising. I mean, because he's got a great career, and
he's a good kid.
So it is neat to see. But I think it just further reinforces, like, there is a time and a place for a fucking ass beating. There are kids and people that need that. But you couldn't do that now.
No, of course not.
You'd get fucking arrested.
It just depends on the environment you're in.
But some kids are their actions are basically, hey. In lack, they don't know it, but in lack of better word, they're saying, I need structure, I need discipline. Yeah. When they act like that, that's some of them. And when you give them that, it's the cure to all problems. It really is. But
and it's the same thing with dogs. And the problem is that, most people assume that it's never okay because of the people that use that on everybody, and it's not for everybody,
Right.
Because if you use that on a dog or a child or a brother or whatever, where that's not the right answer, then it makes things worse, and it is abusive. But there is certainly a time and a place for jerking a knot in somebody's fucking ass. Anyway, so that deployment was pretty fucking epic. 22-month workup. We jump on a C-130. We go to Hawaii. We go to Australia. We go to Bahrain. The USS Cole gets fucking bombed. We jump on the Tarawa, haul ass down there, and now we're playing babysitter on the Cole for 2 months. I know, for me, at that point, I think I was 21 at that point. I had just turned 21 right before we deployed. But what is your guys' recollection of that platoon and deployment and the Cole and the Libo and all of those things?
Fucking cruise box PT.
Yeah.
Holy shit, did we move our gear a lot of times on that deployment.
Yeah. People don't know that part of the job where it's load and unload again.
You touch on that. Something else that you touched on, because I've read it as well, is the psychology of it. It didn't dawn on me where we were headed at that time. Like apparently most of the intel community as well. What was actually going on and what it was leading up to. Yeah. It was just another day at work to me.
Yeah, thinking about the long-term impacts that the Cole being bombed had, and we were right there.
That was a way bigger deal than I gave it credit for at the time. Yeah. It was just being at work.
Yeah, I think so. At the time, for me too, it was like I remember it being surreal and kind of like, holy shit, man,
that really happened.
That destroyer is sitting on its side on a dolphin pier, and like
a house-size hole in the side of it.
Yeah.
Right, surrounded by a whole bunch of bad people. You know? And if you actually brought up some things that I had forgotten that never even made it in the book, was the little mini shipboarding we did. There was a vessel inbound, and there was intel that said, hey, there's a follow-on attack because they want to sink it. Yep. They don't want to just disable it. And so Mike and I had boarded it, and there was a Yemeni soldier with his hand on his gun, and it was a very contentious point in the whole process where Yemen had its guns pointed at us, and we're like, what the what are you doing? They're like, where the fuck are these
We're
people
protecting
pointing?
you.
Yeah.
We're protecting our asset, but you guys are pointing your guns at us.
Right.
And now you got this ship headed straight for us after there was fair warning that anything comes within 100 yards is getting lit up.
Yeah.
And so we intercept it, board it, and all that. And I'd forgotten that until you mentioned it, And
But yeah, I remember it just because it was just you and I on the on the fantail. Like he was standing there with this cocky fucking look on his face, and then he reached down and put his hand on his fucking Beretta or whatever the fuck pistol it was on his service belt, and you and I just went and fucking flooded MP5s right in his fucking grill, like, dude, fucking try it.
Yeah,
pull it.
Yeah, do it.
And I wish a motherfucker would.
Right.
And
of course we all do.
Yeah,
It's like that. It's like that. Send a dog, motherfucker. I'll kick his ass.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
yeah. Screaming for your mom.
Yeah.
400 stitches later. I mean, there's so many little details like that on deployment. One of which you touch about in the book, and this is a good Glenn story, is where he mashed his dick between two fucking 45-pound plates.
Motherfucker and his dick. He could not keep that thing out of trouble.
Yeah, I know. God rest his soul. Glenn's dick got him in trouble more than once.
Glenn's dick got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Lifting weights on a boat that rocks back and forth.
I tore my fucking groin on that same deployment.
Fucking
I
loose-
think
loose
we
gym-
all have
loose gym
injuries.
shorts.
Yeah.
Running down. What the fuck's going on with Glenn? Look at this shit. Ugh.
Oh yeah, that was like
It's horrible to look at.
that thing. I was like, damn.
Damn, that looked like it hurt.
Like a fucking...
I made him function test and everything. I was like, all right, first pee, second jerk off, and then we're like, all right, you're good. Yeah.
Fucking swollen
shit.
purple mushroom.
Jesus.
But the other thing that was taking place was the beat-off Olympics that you coincidentally talk about with our good pal Shane. What was the fucking... Was it out of pure boredom?
Yeah.
I mean, what...
Just cause.
And self-induced. It was his own. It was his own Olympic campaign that no one else was.
We were all competing. You guys just didn't know you were competing.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. It was his own.
That's how you justified it?
That's right. Yeah.
I got to beat these guys.
So what was the numbers again? They're probably different than in the book.
I don't know how far your numbers are off, but it was a 24-hour window. I think your hours are a little long, and I think I managed 12 or 14 in that 24 hours. It was not quite one an hour.
Yeah. It's something like that.
Absurd.
I mean, it was like dust at the end. It was actually kind of painful at the end. It really wasn't even fun anymore. It was just to prove that I could do it again.
But I kept going anyway.
But it was just to prove that I could do it again.
The one of the other things that it wasn't in the book, but I remember and frankly marveled at was that you fucking trained for a goddamn Ironman triathlon on the ship.
That's right.
Yeah, I got the bug in college. I did sprints and halves.
I was supposed to do it with you.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And then you didn't.
Yeah. Then something happened.
Who's the smarter one?
If you could just tell a little bit about how you went about it.
So I got into triathlon in college because I knew I had to stay in shape to go back into the teams, and I had never done it. It seemed like a good idea, and there was a kid that was already in the ROTC unit that was doing little sprints. I was like, fuck, I'll try that. And so I bought a cheap bike, and I could already swim. The teams had got me to where I could run okay. Biking was not that big a deal. So I started doing sprints, and I think the teams is still doing the Super Frog. Yeah. At the time, it was all done at North Island. It was all just the community. And with sponsorship from a team guy, you could get somebody outside in, but it was real limited.
Yeah.
And I did that all 4 years of college. I went out to San Diego and did the Super Frog, which is a half. And I always thought maybe one day I'll do a full. And that deployment, there was a warrant officer on that on the Duluth that had done, 4 or 5 fulls. And he mentioned Taupo, New Zealand, which is the second oldest Ironman. Hawaii's the only one that's been done more times. It's done in a freshwater lake, volcanic freshwater lake. And I never really cared for the saltwater swim. You mentioned how many team guys fucking hate the ocean. So the idea of doing an Ironman in a freshwater lake was attractive to me. And I had a mag trainer. We had the CB shelters on the boat. And so I set up a mag trainer and ran on the treadmill.
Well, and to me, what's impressive about that is you didn't swim that whole time, really.
When we went through Bahrain on our way home, when we were Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, you hit a swimming pool a handful of times, but otherwise you were on a stationary bike trainer.
Yeah, for 4 to 6 hours a day.
What was it, a 5x7?
12 by 12. Those CB shelters were 12 by 12, but I mean, they were tiny little fucking. It had all my air gear in it and just enough room for a bike with no front wheel mounted to an ammo can on a mag trainer.
For those of you that make excuses about how you can't get to the gym, I don't want to
shut the
hear
fuck
it.
up.
But so you went to, we get back and you go on fucking leave. You go to New Zealand and you finished it.
Yeah.
What, you remember your time?
12:36.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's just finishing one is an impressive feat, but training for it on a fucking deployment on a boat, man, that's a pretty fucking cool story, I think.
It is. Good job, Shane.
Thanks,
nice
buddy.
fucking work.
I appreciate it.